Jimripsu, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining our shows and welcome to tonight's show, KHMER Youth Voices for Justice. The show is under Cnrp-America. Again, thank you, and I'm honored to be your host tonight. You will love two of my guests today, so we'll bring them out soon. But beside that, thank you for joining our show. Thank you for coming back. Um, and hopefully you have renewed energy for democracy for Cambodia. Like this show is called Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This show is only in English. Myself and two of my beautiful guests will only be speaking English because we want to reach the Cambodian American or the youth in America or all over the world that um, live outside the country. So, on that note, please share this show with anyone that you find it useful. Please join me. Um, First, I want to welcome two of my beautiful ladies so that way we can start the show. ជំរាបសួរ Subni និងជំរាបសួរ Boss Bar. How are you doing, Subnin?
I'm good, Bong. How are you?
I'm good. Many of our audience know who Subnin is. She's been here a few times. Boss Bar been here probably one or two times many years ago, but she's going to be more active, I am sure, with CNRP America under Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Something, introduce yourself a little bit for our audience that does not know who you are. I'm sure people know who you are already.
Jumripsu Bong and Jumripsu everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for tuning into our show today. Like Bong Linda mentioned, I have been on the show a couple times now, but a little bit about myself. I'm from the East Coast, and I have been having the pleasure of being on the show and really working alongside many other Democrats and democracy lover, specifically more in the US. So been really excited to get to know all the Cambodian community around and really excited to see them in many different places. So that could be protests, our People Congress. So I've been traveling around the US and sometimes go out of the country to really advocate for human rights and democracy for Cambodia.
Thank you, Subnin, and thank you for all the time that you sacrifice to travel. Now, our beautiful young Bospa, how are you? And introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Basava, and I'm a nursing student in North Carolina. I also have a passion advocating for human rights, and I'm very much new to all of this, but I'm very open to meeting Cambodian Americans around the world, and I'm really excited to also meet everyone on my journey and at the protests as well. So, yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now that you're talking about protests, we have a protest coming up this Friday, July 22nd in Washington, D.C. I have a clip of myself, so I'm going to play so that way you can get more detail. We'll see if I can share this. Let me see. Jumripsur and hello everyone. Please join us for a mass rally, peaceful mass rally, this Friday, August 22nd at 10 a.m. in Washington, D.C. as we come together for peace, justice, democracy, and sovereignty for our beloved Cambodia. Thailand has violated the ceasefire agreement by putting up barbed wires and moving troops into Cambodian territory. Thailand must respect the ceasefire agreement by releasing our Cambodian troops immediately and unconditionally. This aggression violates the Paris Peace Accords. Cambodia's sovereignty must be respected. Please meet us. Please join us and meet us at 10 in the morning at the U.S. State Department. Together, we will march to Lafayette Park in front of the White House. Together, we will march as one united Cambodia for peace, justice, democracy, and sovereignty for our beloved Cambodia. One voice for Cambodia. Please bring your voice, your flag, your command. Please join us, and I hope to see you there. Perfect. Will both of you be there?
Yes.
Yes, Bong, I will be there joining you and along with many other Cambodians in Washington, D.C. this Friday.
Okay, now, why is it important for you to be there, Sukning?
So I think everyone have heard about the uh, war, the fight between Cambodia and Thailand, and I'm sure that everyone also have heard about the ceasefires as well. However, while there is ceasefires in place, however, it's not being respected. So we at the protest, we are demanding a ceasefire, Thailand to respect the ceasefire, also demanding the release of the 18 military individual who was captured by the Thai, um, as well as requesting the Thai to stop moving into the Cambodian territory. And most importantly, that we are seeking peace for Cambodia and justice for our countries, and demanding that the regime, the current government of Cambodia, to bring this case to ICJ.
Um, the protest will be on Friday, this Friday, August 22nd. It is important that the youth speak up, the youth show up. Bosba, how would you convince the youth to help today? I mean, to help today to plan for the protest this Friday.
I think everyone's voice is very important, and the youth's voice is even more impactful on this protest because I feel like with the news outlets, when they just see like people, like older people, maybe that's not like, I don't know how to explain it, but with the youth, we have more of this is like our generation and our moment to share our voices and our personal stories. And of course, like the older generations, they're just as important as well. But seeing people like our age or even younger kids talk about what's going on in Cambodia and Thailand, like that's really, really, that shows just how much strength they have and how important it is to them. So seeing that will motivate other youth to join us in the protests. So I think the more youth come together, the more louder our voices will be. So yeah, I hope to see many more youth
Thank you,
out there.
Bosba.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very important. We shouldn't be depending on other people to show up. We should be showing up. We should be raising our voice. When we're talking about you, like you, that born in America, that has probably many of our youth probably never even step foot into Cambodia, but just the facts that the youth has, they have to realize that I always tell people to be proud of who they are, proud that they are Khmer. And that's one of the things is when Cambodia is a country that they might not know where it is, they might not been there, but they do know that their parent, their grandparent came from Cambodia. And also move to America for a better life, offer them the opportunity, the first, second generation, the opportunity that they don't have when their grandparent or their parent when they was young. So it is important that the youth show up, the youth, especially the youth. And also I just want to let you know that Somnin be there, Bosba be there. There's many people that gonna be there that probably don't even speak Khmer. So if you are the youth and you're listening to us and you speak English, please just show up. This is America. We will translate for you. We will be talking in English because this is a topic that we want the international community to care about, to know about. And yes, I think somebody want to add something. She's
Um, I just wanted to add a little bit about like how important it is, Bong, for us as a youth, as women, to represent Cambodia. Um, we, even though we are so far from the border, but we see what's going on at the border, and we are not only watching, we are demanding for justice, we are demanding for peace for for our people in Cambodia, and peace in for peace between the two countries as well. And like you mentioned, no matter where we are, whether you've been to Cambodia or never been to Cambodia, we are still Cambodian. We still have the Cambodian blood in us, and our voices still represent the people of Cambodia, the people, the country, and the place where our family originate from. So it's very important that we use our voice um, carefully and loudly, especially at the protests, for the international community to see what's going on, to share with the international community. And not only that, but also seeking their assistance in achieving peace and in finding peace for Cambodia as well.
Thank you, Soknin. And I'm gonna summarize a little bit. I think Soknin's already summarized a little bit, as you may many of you may know, because it's on a lot on Facebook. But I'm not sure the informations get out to the international community. Cambodia and Thailand recently agreed to a ceasefire. So, but tensions remain. Thai troops continue to move into Cambodian territory. So for the last 20 days or so, that Thailand troops been coming into Cambodia land, putting barbed wire. So that is a violations of the ceasefire. Some of our, not some, 18 of our troops have been detained. So this also violation of the ceasefire. So and I just want people to know that we are not here to provoke. We are here to protect. We protect and preserve Cambodia peace, not preserve Cambodia's peace for everyone. And also our border must be respected. So we have so many issues going on in at the border, and at the same time I'm here to advocate for I don't want the Phnom Penh regime just stay quiet. I want them to take action. What's actions? I don't want them to fighting, but I want them to seek out the signatories of the Paris Peace Accords, Paris Peace Agreements, and also the border issue that regarding land, regarding marine, it need to be to ICJ, because those are international law body that can help solve this issue. We have been talking with Thai, meeting with Thailand many years, and the border issue does not resolve. So in order to help to calm down the fear, calm down the what's going on right now, the Phnom Penh regime we are urging them to seek out the signatories of Paris Peace Accord, and Thailand is also one of the signatory of the Paris Peace Accord. They have to respect Cambodia's sovereignty. Anything you want to add regarding that issue, both of you? If not, then you know what? I hope to see everyone, and Don't forget to say hello to Bosba and Sonin when you see them. They will be leading the protest.
Thank you so much for covering everything.
No problem. Yes. If you coming, I hope you pass the word around. I hope everyone who have kid or grandkid, please show up in Washington D.C. if you're able to drive. Bosba going to be driving for 6 hours. So, Nin, how long are you going to be driving? How many hours you be
It's about
driving?
5 to 6 hours, Bong.
They both ladies are not in Washington D.C., but that's what they're going to do. They're going to drive. So if you are around Washington D.C., North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So many people are going to be showing up. So please make an effort for Cambodia. And we want to be having one voice for Cambodia. And that's what we do. We want one voice for Cambodia, the voice that care and concern for the country that we call Cambodia, the blood that we have as a Cambodian. So hopefully everyone show up.
And I just want to add quickly on that topic, Bong. We are not only fighting for the people who are still alive and fight and still have a voice, but we are also fighting for the one who unfortunately lost their life on the line of duty. And in that aspect, we send our sincere condolences to those family, many of those family who have lost their father, their son, their husband during this violent time between Cambodia and Thailand. And we need to find justice for them too. Now they lost their loved ones. Not only that, their main source of income. Children now have to grow up without a father. Wives have to grow up without, have to continue through life without her husband. And most importantly, the family is struggling because they've lost their loved one, and now they have no support, no financial support for them to navigate life, no grieving services for them to help them process their grief, and especially the younger children, there's no support for them to continue at their education. How are they going to continue receiving their education when their main source of income, when their father figure, when their role model is no longer there? And not only they have to keep going through life without this person, Cambodian as a whole, Cambodian as a country, have lost many soldiers have to who have fought for the country that they believe in. So I just want to emphasize that the protests, we are finding peace, we are finding for seeking justice, not only for those of us who are still here and still have a voice, but for those of us who unfortunately no longer have voices. And that's why it's even more important that while we still have the voice, we have to use it very loudly. So I hope to see you guys at the protest. Again, if you have a language barrier, like Linda mentioned, we obviously speak English. As we are speaking English here on the show, so don't let that be a barrier. If you are from a different state, the drive is not awful. So there are many way of participating in the protest. If you need any other clarifying questions, or if you have any concern or anything, feel free to reach out to us. And if you do, when you come to the protest, not if you do, when you come to the protest, please don't be afraid to approach us, even just to say hello, or if you want any guidance, if you need something at the protest, we're more than happy to help you, direct you to find whatever you may need help with.
The protest will start at the U.S. Department of State. We will meet there at 10 in the morning. We will give some speeches, and if you show up for the protest and you want to voice your concern, you want to voice, you have not been talking for all this time, please show up, get one of us, and we are more than happy to have you speak. And then we will march together, march as one Cambodian to the I cannot even pronounce that park, Lafayette Park. That's across from the White House. So and also going to be a lot of people at that park as well. So please bring your flag, bring your Khmer pride, bring your Gamam, whatever you have that you said, you know what, this is what it mean for me to be a Cambodian, mean for me to be having a Khmer blood, and that's what you want to show up to represent. Please show up to represent. And for our youth that doesn't know what's might not understand, the fighting is at 12 different border sites, so it's not just one place. So it's 12 different borders. Thailand were doing airstrikes, cluster bomb, so over 300,000 people, many of them children, has to flee their homes. So it's not something likely, and you probably see it already. Many people that displaced due to the conflicts on the border need your help, need your assistance, especially food as the immediate need. They don't need you to buy them a home, but they need their tummy to be fed. They need help on that, all that situation. So if you're able to donate, but make sure you donate the right way. You donate to a place where you know that your money is going to go to the people that help. Okay, so thank you both ladies for helping me broadcast or asking people to join the protest, and I really hope that everyone bring their voices. So I heard that both of you went to Taiwan last week. So Soknin, who do you represent? And then we can talk to Basba, who she represent.
Yes, Bong. I had the honor to be in Taipei City in Taiwan last week, representing the Women Affair of Cnrp at a conference hosted by Cal and the DPP in Taiwan. It was such an honor and my privilege to represent Cambodian women and among many other women from 8 different countries from Southeast Asia, and we had our share visions, the experiences of working democracy, and fighting for justice and human rights. So I had learned a lot from there, and I had a great time representing the Cambodian women at the event with Cal and the DPP.
How about you, Basba? Your first time traveling to Taiwan?
Yeah, so for me, I was representing the youth of the CNRPA, and I was able to meet all different youth around Southeast Asia, all the different countries. And we basically did workshops where we were setting the foundation to inspire each other, ignite, and also innovate. So, what that means for me is we were collaborating, innovating new ideas, how to have more youth gathered and collaborating all these ideas on how to uh, involve ourselves more within politics and, fighting for human rights around the world. And also, when we all come together and we meet in a place such as Taiwan, there's so much room for growth and learning about each other despite our different backgrounds. It was so cool and amazing to hear about everyone's story and, where they want to be in a few more years, where they see their country in a few more years, and, their goals, and how we can help each other out. So yeah, that was my experience.
Is it inspired to know that the other people who, despite all what they have, like you in America, you are not in Cambodia suffering the oppressions, but at least you meet other youth that no matter where they at, different country, they always inspired for their own country to be democrat. I mean, to democracy for their country.
Yeah, just seeing that we're all alike in one way or another. We're all fighting for democracy. There's nothing political about advocating for human rights, for basic human rights that we all should have around the world. So it was eye-opening. very mind opening to see everybody talk about the different ways that we can be more advocate about democracy. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Soknin, you representing women. I mean, this is your first time representing women. How do you feel? How do you, I know you're going to feel a little bit older, but beside that, how do you feel now that you are speaking to a mature audience, meeting a mature people, ladies?
It was very inspiring, Bong, because now I'm on the other side, which is the woman's side. So it was very, very motivating to see other women. Like I mentioned, they are also from Southeast Asia, so they're very much in the same or similar climate as we are. And one thing that I thought was very inspiring was that immediately everyone is very welcoming, regardless of your background. So immediately in the beginning of the workshop, you form this global sisterhood of fighting for liberal values. And then once you get to know each other, I had learned that everybody come from different country. Everybody come from different experiences. For myself, I come from a diaspora perspective from the United States, while many other come from they were political person, they came from a political party, some other represented the civics and communities, while others are lawyers, and then the other person was more like public health. We had an educator, so they all have different experiences, and they all have different pathway where they can achieve or explore their journey for democracy and human right. However, we all just come and form a sisterhood and solidarity to fight for one common goal, which is democracy and liberal value. So it was very interesting to represent. It was very interesting to get to know them and get to know about their work, and I'm very inspired by their experiences and their shared vision. And again, it was really, I felt very proud and very prideful to be Cambodian, and especially representing Cambodian women along with the other women at the workshop.
Great. It's about democracy. How do you see democracy in Cambodia, current situations, and in the future?
For me, I think that, not that I think, I know that democracy doesn't exist in Cambodia. There's no such thing as peace in Cambodia. One, because we literally just finished talking about the war, the violence. So when there is war, there's violence. When people are afraid of what the next day will look like, there's no peace. And it's also important when people during election season, whether it's a local election or government election, when people are afraid to select their candidate, there's no peace, there's no democracy. Democracy could be democracy mean freedom of expression, freedom of speech. People are able to make decision about their life, about their society, contribute to their society. However, none of that is happening in Cambodia. There's no free and fair elections. People's, including very close one to my close family and friends of myself, are very, very afraid, especially during election seasons, because it's monitored, because they're so scared if they don't choose the current um, people in office, or the people that the government favors for, then they would be in danger, or that they would be um, threatened. Then we have many, many political prisoners who are still in prisons simply for opposing the current government, simply for expressing their expression, for using the freedom of speech and using their voice. We have our youth environmentalists. They're still in prison for over a year now. What did they do? They literally use their voice to protect our natural resources and our environment. So those are just very few example of that there is no democracy in Cambodia. Peace does not exist. Peace is only words of mouth. But if you look into the situation in Cambodia, it we don't have peace, we don't have democracy. And that is the reason why we're all here today on the show. That's why Bang Linda is always on here asking you to do something, whether it's signing a petition or joining a protest, because we really need to find democracy and peace for Cambodia. Because right now, people in Cambodia and outside Cambodia, in the diaspora, in the international communities, are suffering and are in desperate need of democracy and real peace for the people of Cambodia and for the country of Cambodia.
And on that note, Soknin and I and Bosba cannot do it ourselves. Three of us cannot do it ourselves. We can bring up issue, we can bring up awareness on what's going on in Cambodia, but we need everyone. We need all the youth that consider themselves have Khmer Prize to help us spread awareness, to help us spread what's going on in Cambodia. As you are aware, doing this aggression, anti-aggression against Cambodia, we have no social independent media talking about Cambodia at all, and you only see social media influencer that can speak English come out on Facebook. But at the same time, we can look at that and say, oh, we see them because we Cambodian, we see them. But how many of those friends that they have, those social media influencer that have the international community listening to them and watching them sell product in Cambodia? Not many. So it's yes, we see them, we hear them, but that's because we Cambodian. But beside that, nobody can hear them. So it is important. It's very important that we live overseas. I'm not just saying America. I'm saying everywhere that's overseas, to raise our voice, to make sure people understand what's going on in Cambodia. And when people say, well, I have so much fun in Cambodia, I see so many wonderful stuff. Of course, when you go to Cambodia, you see beautiful temple. It's meaning so much. At the same time, you forgetting that when you leave the capital city, the rich get really rich in Cambodia, but when you go to the farm, you see a lot of poor people. And in this fight, this conflicts between Cambodia and Thai, we have seen so many migrant workers from Thailand returning to Cambodia. There is a red flag where over 2 million people going to be coming back to Cambodia without any job. How does the regime sustaining? How does regime going to help them find job when they in the first place cannot afford to find job? That's the reason why they leave to go to Thailand. They go Thailand, South Korea, and then Japan for job, because the government, the regime in Cambodia cannot generate, is not able to generate work for the. I know if I know those migrant workers, if they can make money in Cambodia, living in the land that they are staying, living in the land with their family, they would rather stay in Cambodia, work in Cambodia, versus travel by themselves, live in Thailand by themselves, live in South Korea by themselves, just to send money back home. So, Boss Bob, how can you how can you apply what you learn to Cambodia? Or maybe what you can learn to democracy in America? We should talk about democracy in America one of these days.
So there's a huge difference between democracy in America versus democracy in Cambodia. And I know that we have so much more opportunities here for us. I mean, and despite having all these opportunities, we also have all these resources for us to use to educate ourselves and continue using our voices through these social media platforms that we have. I know with technology nowadays, that's really important for us Gen Z to use, like TikTok, Instagram. Those social media platforms can help us continue to spread information about what's going on in Cambodia right now. That's also how I informed myself on what's going on. Cambodia and Thailand. Yeah, so with that, I have been sharing all the posts that I can on my platform and speaking to my other Cambodian American friends. So that's really important for me to do my part, and to have these conversations with my other Cambodian American friends.
Did
And
they ever ask you? Did they ever ask you, why do you care? You live in America.
well, I'm still Cambodian. I might live in America, but at the end of the day, like, I know I am Cambodian, and it's important for me to continue our history and to not forget about where we came from and how we got here. How did we get to not America, but how did we continue to rise up from all the genocide that we have had in the past? Even though, Cambodia is still being oppressed by, the military and the corruption, we are still continuing our fight, and we are still remaining strong and passing on all of the history and the current, news to all of our friends and family. And yeah.
What I always tell them, for me, is like, there's are people in the other side of the world that look like me, that look like us, but they don't have the same freedom as us. They don't have the opportunity like us. And we who have the same blood like them all across the sea cannot be ignored, because those are our people, those are our blood. Even though I know when you talk about Gen Z, I know you guys are very young. Yeah, you guys like, oh, you know what? I live a comfortable life. I'm have everything here. But truly, you have everything here, but your blood is, you cannot change who you are, because it's your blood. Your blood isn't. And like I said, there's like many other people, there's like 17 million other people that look like you in Cambodia, and they deserve the opportunity, they deserve the freedom of speech, they deserve living in dignity. When I say, and that's what my main purpose is, to give people dignity, able, especially older people, able to, basically able to die with dignity, because it's really hard to look at my own blood in my country and cannot afford to pay for medical, cannot afford to pay for just basic need. They don't even ask for to be in a luxury hotel, luxury home. They're just asking for a basic need, and when they die with dignity. Many people not even can afford that. So
Yeah, and just to add to that, like what you said, for the people who can't use their voice in Cambodia currently, over here we have all the sources we can to speak out for them and to use our own voices for them. So, and the youth voice is 10 times louder, over here than over in Cambodia, because again, of all of the resources we have, like the news will cover a lot more here in America than over there in Cambodia. So we have to do all we can within our power to speak for them. So yeah, that's very important.
thank you, Basma. Soknin, anything to add?
Just to answer that question, Bong, like, why do you care? You live in America where you have healthcare, you have education, or often I hear, you are so young, why, like, leave it to the politician? These are like adult conversation, these are adult responsibility. Why do you care? Why bother? I think, well, the obvious answer is that, as Bosma mentioned, we are still Cambodian, regardless of where we grow up, regardless of where we live. Secondly, I have a voice and I'm able to use my voice, so I have to use it. Not using your voice is not an option, because I've seen what it's like to not being able to express your voice when you have a voice, but it's being silent. And most importantly, it's being silent by dictators, it's being silent by the regime. So I know that my voice does not only speak for myself, but my voice also represent for my people in Cambodia, for my country in Cambodia. So it's very important that I use my voice loudly. The other thing is, I know that not everyone is lucky enough to live the life that I live, meaning access to healthcare, access to education. I have a home. I don't have to worry about being evacuated or forced to leave my house. But I know many thousands people like myself, my age, who should be receiving education, who should be receiving access to care, just the same as me, but they do not have that. They're not, um, unfortunately, they're not that lucky to have that. So it's important that I represent them too. Again, it's important that we use our voices and being active, because we don't just represent ourselves as an individual, but we're representing so many voices and um, so many people who have no freedom, who have no expression. So when people tell you, why are you joining the opposition, or like you shouldn't join the opposition, or you shouldn't get involved in politics, the short answer to that is that you have the right to do so. And we live in a country where we are able to express our right and use our rights full force, freely. So we should be able to use that, because I personally cannot imagine having my voice be silent. I would not be okay with that, and nobody should ever be okay with that. So you have the power to make a change. You have the power to contribute to change. So you should do that, and you should actively do that, because right now you are watching other families, other people going through it, with the forced evictions, with the lack of resources, living in poverties, no job opportunity. It does not affect you right now. It does not affect your loved ones right now. But if you don't fight against injustice, if you don't seek democracy, if you don't seek justice, one day you will become the victim of what you are watching other people are going through. So right now you might be living at a home, the next, maybe sometime in the future, you might be the one being forcefully evicted, or you might be the one not having access to healthcare because corruption continue to grow and democracy continue to backslide. So it's very important to act, and it's very, very important that we need to act now.
And as a Cambodian, we have empathy, we have compassion toward other human being. When people say it's, like I said, it's happened all over on the other side of the oceans. Why are we here talking about that? Because we see it. And if someone were to say, but Cambodia have democracy. No, Cambodia does not have democracy. Number one, the person who holding on to that power was over 40 years on sitting on that same position. So that is not democracy. And in addition, his son is the prime minister right now. So it's passing down from father to son. Imagine in America when women or America always say, when you're born in America, you have the opportunity to be a president of America, the president, the highest level office in America. You're able to do that. Imagine you're a woman in Cambodia. You did all you can, and you have hope and dream for your children to do their best, but at the same time, the opportunity is not there. No matter how hard you study, no matter how much uh, money, first of all, you wouldn't have any money because you not in line with the corruptions. So you have hope and dream for yourself. You have hope and dream for your children. It's not going to exist, because if you does not know people through work, you will not move forward. And your dream, if it's like, oh my gosh, my child will one day going to become a prime minister of Cambodia, they will kill it already, because they will only put their child and their grandchildren's there. The whole regime been there for over 50 years. And if someone come to you and say, Cambodia have democracy, you just say, no, Cambodia does not have democracy. If they really have democracy, one person should not be holding to that seat for 40 years, for 50 years, and telling Cambodian, telling the whole 17 million people to thank you, peace, not only thank you, peace, thank you them for rescuing Cambodia. And it shouldn't be like that. And we living overseas, we always having compassion, the compassion to understand, the compassions to understand that does not matter where we at, we can always see, we can always feel, you can feel the hurt, you can feel the something is not right. So with that, thank you ladies for your heart knowing what's going on in Cambodia. And on that note, thank you to your parents for introducing you and making you being aware.
Yeah, and just another thing to add, it's not just a current issue right now, it's a generational struggle that we have had for many, many generations. Again, it doesn't just stem from like Hun Sen, it's also like his son now, Hun Manet, that's taking over. And the corruption and everything, all of that is going to continue to pass down. And so that's why it's important for us youth to continue to educate each other and to pass down this information because, again, it's not just a current issue, it's also something that we need to work on for many generations to continue to have these conversations within our family and friends and everyone around us.
And to add to both Bong, we are. I saw in the comment that the the young generation is the hope of the future. Young generation and women's like the Gen Z and the women's are very important to society. We need to contribute to society because if we are not being, if we're not voicing our concern, if we are not being represented at the decision making table, how is the society as a whole, how is the government going to meet our need in the future? How are they going to know what we need to grow, how what we need to thrive? um, so that's why it's very important that we get involved as young people, as women's do not only belong at the kitchen or doing house chores. Democracy cannot be achieved without the young generation and without women's. One of the things that I was very inspired by when I was in Taipei, joining the event, is that we had the opportunity to have lunch with the vice president of Taipei. And one thing that really stuck with me from her speech was that she shared her personal experience where 20 to 25 years ago, she was sitting at the same seat that we, meaning the young generation and the woman at the event, was sitting. She was simply just a participant. That was 20 to 25 years ago. Today, she is a vice president of her country. So it's important that we contribute. We have, as women and as young people, we have a role to play in shaping our society. And that just goes back to what Mong Linda was mentioning, that opportunity does not allow for everybody in Cambodia. It's only you have opportunity only if you are in the elite, if you are rich. However, democracy means equal opportunity for everybody. So that is another reason why I believe that democracy does not exist in Cambodia, and everybody is equal. I always try to explain to those who may never been in politics, who've never participated in political event, in simple term, the simplest term, whether you are an elite, whether you are rich, or whether you are poor, everybody is the same. We all have 2 arms and 2 legs, 10 fingers and 10 toes. Why are we not having the same equal opportunities? Why are only the rich getting health access, healthcare accesses, only get education? We all born the same way. We are all equal. We should be given the opportunity for the things that we earn through hard work. If you work hard in school, you should have opportunity for scholarship. You should have opportunity to further your education and chase your dream, not because your family name, not because you are in the elite. You could be in the elite and you don't work hard for what you want. You just sit around and say, oh, my parents have money, my parents are part of the elite group or part of the political party, they can get me in through their name, through their reputation. No, those things could need to be hard worked and earned. So to see people like me, to see young people, to see women who are stripped away from opportunity is extremely hard to watch. And it should not be that way. And again, this is why we need to keep fighting for equal representation and for a true democracy for Cambodia.
Thank you, Subnin. I'm still having the comments up because I want to comment on Mr. Chester comments. He said, young generation is our hope for the future. Yes, it's true, but only if with the push and with the opportunity from older people. Some, like all of us, we have parents, we have our family that actually pushing us, make sure that we understand, pushing us what to know what's going on in Cambodia. So if you are a parent, you are a grandparent, please, does not matter even though the language barrier, explain to them. They will understand. They will understand some, not all. And also introduce to them, tell them your life story. Why is it important? Why is it important that the young generations that is you consider the hope for the future should understand what's Cambodia? So it's the sharing from the family member, it's the sharing from the parent that push them, and it's not pushing them to get bored on what Cambodia is, giving them the opportunity, like Bosba and Subnin, they both has the opportunity to go overseas to learn and to meet other people who have the same mind, who seek democracy for their country. Democracy is not something that we get and forget about it. Democracy is something that you cherish and you continue to work on it. If you anything else that you learn is in America, is America's continue to tweet that democracy. People might have different opinion what's going on in America right now, but at the same time, if everyone, doesn't matter where you at, stay silent, just look at the situations and not helping, not concerning, not caring, then the humanity is not going to move forward. Anything else you want to add, ladies? No, that's it. Thanks, Carol.
The other thing I wanted to add as well is toward the end of our 3-day workshop, we just so for our audience to know that during the workshop we had as two event going on at the same time. We had the youth, and then we had the women's, where the youth really met with other youth from Southeast Asia and share experiences, share best practice, and really come together, ignite and inspire each other, and everybody leave with an innovative ideas of how they're going to implement what they learned at the session with their own community. Same thing with women's. We were meeting with different women from different countries, from different backgrounds, and come together on how we can contribute to an increase of women in leadership, an increase of women in politics. And we also learn about the very upsetting statistic of how low women's representation are in politics and leadership in general. I think one of the things that I have learned at the Women Workshop, one of the statistics that we share was that at the current rate, the world will attain equality in 286 years to remove discrimination. 286 years just for women to have equal representation to men. That is ridiculously crazy, and we need to work on improving that. But one thing I wanted to highlight is that during the workshop, during the last day of the workshop, is that we had the opportunity of doing a joint session with women and youth, and we talked about our favorite subject, technology, AI, AI usage, and how we can spot the goods and the bads of AIs. We have a lot of positive perspective on the technology. Like Bosma mentioned earlier in the show, we need to use our voices through social media. With technology, we can share news, we can fact check, we can check on what is true and what is a lie and what is a propaganda. And we had talked about AI in different way. You can use AI, whether it's for communication, to draft campaign, to use in political parties and political work as well. But one thing I wanted to emphasize is that there's a good and bad in everything. While AI can be very useful, AI can also bring with the negative effects. So I just wanted people to be extremely careful on what they see on their screen, whether it's the news, whether what they see on Facebook. You can see that sometime videos and message are generated by AI and it's not true. It's not the truth. So what you see on the internet is great. However, it's very important that we need to fact check. We need to know where the sources come from. We need to do a little bit digging and get a deeper understanding of where the individual come from, where the what the role of that individual is or where that number come from, and really just fact checking. So that was a very good session, and I have learned a lot about how to effectively use AIs and also how to effectively spot the negative of using AI technology. And like I mentioned, a lot of lesson learned, a lot of shared experience. Thank you to Cal and the DPP for putting the event together for the youth and for um, the women's. It was a great opportunity to come together and just connect and form global international solidarities and sisterhood. And again, I'm very excited to share what I have learned within the community, within the women's of Cambodia, and the youth of Cambodia, to make sure that we continue to progress on our journey toward democracy and human rights.
And on that footnote, we are not just sending you to Taiwan because there's an opportunity in Taiwan, because there's many older people under Cnrp-America that have leadership in CAL, that been with CAL, so they have paved the way for us, for our next generations to be able to go under the Cnrp umbrella. So with that, we have to acknowledge that they are the one that working still, and they continue to work toward democracy in Cambodia. So and I got trained from Cal. You both now got trained from Cal. That's because of Her Excellency Mosukur, Mr. Samrang-si, His Excellency Samrang-si, that actually were there when they were younger than us. And instead of them keep going to the same training, they offer the opportunity for younger generations to be there. And this year just happened to be two our beautiful women, and two beautiful smart women.
I just want to notice the difference among the leadership of CNRPA have attended Cal. They do not send their kids, or they do not pass down the torch to the kids. They pass down the torch to the younger generation and the women. So that means equal opportunity for everybody. So that is one thing that we can see with the difference. Very simple difference that you can understand. Does not have to be in politics. We don't pass the torch to the family.
So sometimes see kid or
Yes, no, their kids do not attend. All the opportunity is earned, and it's equal opportunity for everybody.
On that note, and Boss Bar had 1% left on her computer. Thank you so much, lady, for being here. I'm not hoping, I will see you on Friday at the protest. I will see everyone. Please join us. Please meet us in Washington, D.C., in front of the U.S. State Department. We will gather there and then we will march as one Cambodian that care about Cambodia, that still care about democracy, care deeply about the country that our parent, our grandparent, and the country that what we call Cambodia. So it is important. Please show up. Please bring your voice. Please bring your passions. Please show up to show that you are Khmer. You care about what's going on in Cambodia. Anything to add, Soknin, before we leave?
No, I don't have anything else to add. Just to really emphasize the importance of us joining our protest later on this week on Friday. So I'm very excited to see many other Cambodians fighting for our country coming together in Washington D.C. It's not our first time in Washington D.C. and it will not be our last time. And that just showed the commitment and the fight we're willing to fight for our country. So I'm very excited to, and I hope to see many of our Cambodians, elderly and youth and women and gentlemen there. It will be a lot of solidarity and a lot of love and pride for our country.
And this is not the first protest on that topic. Soknin went to protest in Massachusetts. I went to the protest in Long Beach. So for us, this is not a new topic. It's not the only topic that we protest on. On this particular topic regarding making sure that Cambodia has a ceasefire, make sure the aggressions respect the ceasefire, which is Thailand. So this is our second or our third protest already on this same topic for the last, I can say, less than a month. So if you have not been to any of the protests regarding Cambodia and Thai conflicts, please join us. And if you already been to a protest somewhere else, still join us because our voice matters. Bospa, you want to close up the show?
I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to also use my voice again to talk about my experiences during the CALD program. And thank you so much to everyone who is also supporting youth all the time and helping us pave our way. And I'm really excited to see new faces at the protests as well and to speak to everyone and continue this fight and this journey for us. Yep. So thank you so much. And yeah, I hope to see everyone else more on the live shows. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies, and thank you for your time. Hopefully, we have a different discussion. I hope I don't have to do this live show to talk about Cambodia democracy, but I'm thinking that I'm going to be hosting this youth show, and hopefully, we have other youth who's passionate and care and concerned about Cambodia as you too. So, thank you for your time. And also thank you, our audience, for being here. I appreciate it. Looking forward to see our audience this Friday at the protest. If not, then I'll see you next Tuesday on the live show. Thank you. And that.
Yeah.